Good afternoon and welcome to Main Street Sports. Ray Halbrook with Livestream STL. Hope you're all having a great lunchtime here we're here at La Pachangas in Herculaneum, Missouri. So we appreciate everybody jumping on the Facebook waves and the Twitter waves and the YouTube waves. We're all over the place. So these are all of our places, by the way, right here. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, our new Roku channel, Twitch, Periscope, and Instagram. And also on that new Roku channel, if you're interested in getting that Roku channel, log on to videos.tkdssports.com, and you can jump on the Roku channel here. We have quite a few folks here via the video chat here. We're Zoom calling a lot of folks here, but we have Coach Zach Bone and Coach Danny Sigmund. And then I also have in front of me here, Coach Aaron Kudelek from the JC Blazers, and none other than Jeff Whitener. Jeff, how you doing, my friend?
Good. I am not from the Blazers or any of those organizations. I'm from the Blue Tiger Media.
Tiger Media.
That's right.
Right.
But Ray, we're finally talking about baseball here at the lunch hour.
We are. I love it.
Baseball, and this is going to be a really, really interesting season. These guys have worked hard to cobble together something for these young people to have an opportunity to play baseball. So very excited to talk to them today, Ray.
Awesome. Kick it off, my friend.
All right. As Ray mentioned, we have Zach Bone, head coach of the Festus Diamond Club this season, this summer. And Coach Danny Sigmund, coach of the Rock Memorial baseball team. And, of course, from the Slava League, Aaron Kudelik right here to my left of the JC Blazers. And all of these teams are going to get to see each other this season, play a few times. This ought to be fun. A mix mash of the leagues, as it were. But one of the things I want to talk about right off the bat, guys, and as I mentioned, jumping through the countless hoops that you had to try to put this season together, we now have our schedules. We now have directions. What are some of the hurdles that you as managers, as coaches, as organizers, club organizers had to overcome that maybe viewers and fans and parents don't realize to make this a reality this summer? Let's start with Coach Sigmund.
Oh, Danny, hold on a second.
Hold on, you didn't turn your microphone.
I didn't turn your microphone on. Go ahead and answer that if you would, Danny. Appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, so some of the things we had to go through, obviously, the first and foremost was the player and parent commitment. You know, if they didn't want to put their kids out there and then the kids didn't want to get out, it just wasn't going to happen. It didn't take long for all the parents and players to commit. You know, they were ready to jump on board. And the other hurdle we had to find was, creating a schedule again, finding more teams to play. We had it set up, and the schedule we put together now is nowhere near looking anything like what we had before.
Well, that's for sure. What were some of the things that you had to overcome, Coach Bone?
Jeff, I think Danny hit on obviously the parent and player commitment, just ensuring that they were comfortable with their son being out there. This is obviously a situation that doesn't come along, hopefully doesn't come along very often, and once in a lifetime, situation for as far as everything going on, but certainly on the athletic end too. So for us, it was obviously getting that commitment, which was pretty much across the board. I think parents were hoping their son would be able to get out there this summer. Danny hit on the scheduling stuff, and we're obviously lucky that there's a lot of organizations that are still looking to play baseball this summer. And I think the biggest one aside from that is probably facility use. And there's still a lot of baseball facilities, nearly all the county high school facilities, outside of St. Pius High School are currently closed. West City Park and Festus, where we typically would play and practice during the summer, is Butch Lucas Field, number 5, at least, is still closed also. So just trying to find some facilities to be able to get out and prepare for the season, I would say, on top of what Danny added, has probably been the biggest challenges so far.
Coach Kudelik, do you echo those sentiments or anything that has been a challenge for you coming from a Slava perspective?
Absolutely. The same problems that those guys talked about. I think for me, and I know with Zach coaching in high school, I think it's the expectation it's been really difficult to temper expectation because we all come from different backgrounds, and this year I happened to start at St. Louis Community College at Merrimack coaching-wise, and we were feeling pretty good and playing some really good baseball, and the next thing you know, we're dealing with a bunch of kids that honestly haven't done a whole lot for a few months, and the expectation is not what I guess you can have the expectation, but, man, they're having a really tough time, being at a level that we're used to seeing them being at coming out of high school. So it's some pretty rough baseball right now. And we've been fortunate enough to play, but, of course, we're not playing at any of our normal stomping grounds. I think that was the first time I was on Rock Field. We played a tournament there, and I'd never played a game at St. Pius. We played a game there in a tournament, so we're just trying to find a place to play anywhere we can, and it's been a very difficult process for sure.
Coach, is the Slava League or any of the other teams playing? Is the Slava playing as a league this summer?
Yes, they voted and decided to start on June 1st. And the problem we found right away is how can you start on June 1st when you can't get on a field? With St. Louis County being shut down, we have not played a league game yet. We are scheduled to play Monday, Wednesday, Thursday league games. We're still kind of holding our breath because, July 1st, we're hoping things will open up as far as the high school facility use, but we don't have an answer for that. So I think it's just the day-to-day mass chaos is the term I continue to use, and we just we're living it. So it's yes, we're planning on playing our league and our postseason tournament and all-star and banquet and all that, but I think we're all a little skeptical as the numbers jump. I don't think anybody would be surprised if we got shut down again as far as from a recreational sports standpoint.
Right, and that's we're just going to have to take whatever time we can get here and not take it for granted, that's for sure. Now correct me if I'm wrong, coaches. So what we have right now as far as Jefferson County goes, we have a mixed schedule of normal teams that are normally Legion that aren't flying under the Legion banner because, we can't Legion Baseball voted not to have a league this year. So we've put together teams from past Legion teams. We have Babe Ruth teams on the schedule. We have Slava teams on the schedule. And then it sounds to me like we have some club-type travel teams on the schedule. Is that correct? Am I missing anybody from that?
We've got a potpourri of teams out there for sure. We're seeing any of these teams that are out of St. Louis that are the club teams, as you talked about, a few of the Legion teams, and then this year for us, for the first time on a varsity level, some of the Slava teams.
Well, that ought to be interesting, and now's a good time to mention, obviously, we will be there tomorrow night at your field, Rock Memorial, as you get to host these JC Blazers over here. So we're looking forward to that, and looking forward to bringing everyone our first live stream game of the season.
Absolutely.
That game starts at 7:30, I believe. Isn't that correct, Ray? Yeah,
it is. 7:30. We'll probably go live 7:15.
7:15, so we're looking forward to that, gentlemen. You touched on it a little bit, and then this is a pretty general question, and I'm going to start with Coach Kudlak. What are your biggest concerns for your athletes right now?
Obviously you have to look at the pitchers. I mean, that's the number one concern. I mean, I'm used to a situation where guys are coming out of high school and they've thrown 80, 90, 100, there are restrictions now in high school, but still, I mean, they're pretty much in peak form and ready to go. The dead arm period has come and passed, and guys are in pretty good shape. But now, I mean, we have to be very cautious with the pitchers and the number of pitches they're throwing, and especially concerned about arm care and recovery and how soon we can use guys again. So I guess it's a lot more small bits. Even the starters, I mean, they may throw, 50 pitches in 3 innings, and then, 3 days later, throw, 2 innings of 30, 40 pitches. It's just kind of, pitching is just off the charts, the hardest thing I feel like to manage right now, trusting the kids and knowing what you're dealing with, because they're definitely not ready to do what they normally do in June.
And I've noticed that, Coach, just from looking at the Game Changer in their first 3 games or so, you've been very careful about the amount of pitches that your guys have thrown. You guys have a smattering of guys across the board that haven't thrown a whole ton of pitches, which is echoes to what you're saying. Coach Bone, is there anything besides the pitching staff and what Coach Kudlak talked about as far as concern for your guys right now?
Well, certainly from a public health standpoint, we're trying to be smart about some things. And I think, we told our kids, look, most of you are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. It's on you to be mature enough to take some responsibility for some of those things and making sure that, we understand that, it's a baseball game. You're in the dugout. You're going to be around other people to an extent, but I think it's about being smart about it. Not drinking after each other, things of that nature. And then, Aaron obviously hit on the throwing portion of it. I think that's every coach's major concern at this point is, I think the biggest thing on top of it is probably your two-way type guys. He hit on making sure that, guys are ready to get on the mound. I think that's absolutely true for any coach. But I think additionally, managing some of that, quote unquote hidden workload. They talk about, your best pitcher also plays shortstop or center field or whatever. There's those, warm-up throws between innings. There's the time he spends in the bullpen. There's the play and catch before the game. And, some of the rotational aspects of it, baseball's a rotational game, both on the hitting and pitching side. And I think when guys haven't done that in a long period of time, at least in a competitive environment, trying to do it at a high speed, there's certainly some concern with some stability and stuff like that throughout a young body. But I think most of these guys are excited to get back out there. I think that probably managing some of that excitement a little bit, is where we come in maybe and earn our keep just a little bit. Guys want to get out and they want to be, throwing 100 miles an hour. They want to be, taking 150 ground balls or whatever it is. And that, we obviously love that enthusiasm, but being smart about it the first couple times out. Like I said, most of these guys haven't been on a baseball field since, early March. So there's definitely an adjustment period there, and I think we're just trying to monitor that as best we can.
Right. Coach Sigmund, from your perspective, anything else to add as far as what your concerns for your athletes are?
I think they hit it right on the head. But I did have one, is just making sure that they're responsible for themselves, even outside the game itself. Not to get into too big of an environment. A couple of weeks ago, you had it was all over Facebook and Twitter about the Lake of the Ozarks situation. It's just trying to keep our guys away from things like that, just to keep everybody safe and sound as much as we can right now.
It's definitely hard to rein in these young 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. That's for sure. Right. And try to put the brakes on their energy level and enthusiasm. Now, this is kind of a follow-up question, and I know that this will definitely affect Festus. And I don't know, I haven't looked really close at your guys' schedule as far as Slava and Rock Memorial, but Festus in this compressed environment has a lot of double headers going. Obviously, it's going to test the depth of any roster. Aside from pitching and the pitching concerns that we've already spoken about, is these doubleheaders, these compressed. I know Festus has 4 games in back-to-back days. Is this going to alter your in-game strategy at all a little bit, as far as these guys not having a spring and then coming in and I mean, is it just going to be rotating guys in as much as possible, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, sorry, Jeff, I was having trouble hearing if that was directed at me. I apologize if I jumped in front of everybody there. But I think we wanted to get some games, obviously, as many games as we could, responsibly fit in during the time frame we're planning on playing. So basically we're planning on playing, if everything opens up like we're hoping it will, from the last week of June through the last week of July. So during that 5-week period, obviously weekend tournaments, which are we're hoping going to be running at that time. We did schedule a lot of doubleheaders. We're carrying a big roster, and we typically do. We'll typically carry the full 18. We're doing that again this year. And a lot of these guys, typically we'd have some guys who would be maybe just pitchers or pitcher-only type guys for us during the summer that were position guys for our high school team. With those guys missing their high school season, their high school spring, we were less comfortable having guys that we told them, look, you're just going to pitch this summer. So we wanted to get some at-bats for those guys too. Doubleheaders are often the best way to do that if you can get people that want to play, just because, obviously there's 2 baseball games. So we have 18 guys. You're able to run them out there in shifts just a little bit. So just in the interest of getting everybody on the field, I think we have 14 guys who will pitch for us this summer out of the 18. In the interest of getting those guys out there and getting them some innings and at-bats and things like that, we were trying to get as many as we could. I think we played more of those last year than we have, whether that was through a tournament with 2 games scheduled the same day or whatever. We probably played more of those last year than we have in the last few years. And honestly, I think in this without getting on too much of a soapbox here, kids want to play. You know, they get on the team with someone that they want to play. That's understandable. I don't think any coach would want kids who were comfortable not being on the field, you know, when they got the opportunity or consistently at least. And I think, you know, even your younger guys, your juniors, your underclassmen are less comfortable saying, okay, well, that kid's a senior. I may sit behind him and my playing time maybe limit a little bit. They want to play right now. Even if that kid ahead of them is a little bit better, that often gets lost, you know, just in the desire to be out there on the field. And I think that's probably universal for most teams. Those kids want to play right now. And if they're not, they want to seek out an opportunity where they feel like they can be the guy every day, even if it's, you know, playing for a lesser organization or whatever. So for us, I think we're trying to make a commitment to get guys on the field as much as we can with the big roster this summer. Kids obviously miss 2.5 to 3 months of baseball during the springtime. And, you know, we're trying to give them an opportunity to get out there and hopefully make up for some of that lost time.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to follow up with that same question as far as the scheduling goes with Coach Sigmund and Coach Kudlick. In the meantime, you are watching the Main Street Sports Show right here on Livestream STL. Stick around. Where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? There's the game. Livestream STL, now available on Roku.
I wonder what Coach Jarvis is up to.
Jason! What's up? What's up? Man! Oh, hang on a minute. I got a call from Blair. What's up?
What am I doing? I'm sitting here watching the coach's box.
This must be a wrong number.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Kettlehut, owner of Kettlehut Smokehouse and proud sponsor of our regional youth baseball program. Come on in before or after a game for some of the best barbecue in the area. We can feed the whole team or have us cater your next party. On 6167 Crystal City, Kettlehut Smokehouse, hands down the best around.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
You know, I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports, even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. And we are back here. Thanks for watching Main Street Sports, our afternoon edition here at La Pachenga's in Herculaneum. Love the folks over here at La Pachenga's. You got to check these guys out. They've got some great food here. I love their chicken quesadillas. They're amazing. So check them out, 636-475-4888, located at 1185 Scenic Drive in Herculaneum. You can also check them out on the web at lapachengamex.com. And we are going to let you know also about this Friday. We will actually be live from Rock Memorial Field for our Jeffco Diamond Cast. That's going to be our Jefferson County coverage. We're going to call that our Diamond Cast. So make sure you are checking us out That'll be 7:15 on the pregame with the 7:30 first pitch. And if you're interested in sponsoring with us, we've got an amazing sponsorship thing going on right now. We've got less than 48 hours of this. So if you're a business and you're interested in being a part of this, this is huge for your business. $75 a game, regularly $125 right now. We're running everything 40% off. So if you wanted to do the full season, we're going to do the math for you. It was regularly $2,500 for over 20 games. It is now marked down to $1,500 for 20 games. That is a great deal. And so we want to get a hold of us. This is where you get a hold of us here. You see our number there, 314-852-4398, or you can email us over at livestream@stlOutlook.com.
And one thing you want to mention for those advertisers out there, potential advertisers, right? We're seeing a whole lot of other teams in other areas this year, so a good opportunity for folks north of the county. We're going to get to see plenty of Rock Memorial baseball, plenty of JC Blazer baseball, and even down south to our friends down in Charleston, we're going to get to see some Fighting Squirrel baseball live from Hill House Field down there. Looking forward to seeing Coach Minner and his crew down there.
I'm going to say this one more thing also. One of our full season sponsors, we wanted to make sure that people are aware of this, Justin Neal over at USA Mortgage, the home possibility. You got to give him a call, 314-287-4572, or you can check him out at festus.usa-mortgage.com. Love Justin Neal, great supporter of Jefferson County baseball in general, but specifically 253 was coaching out there as well.
Absolutely.
So we go to our next segment here, so take it away, my friend, Jeff.
Our next segment, we kind of want to follow up on the question that we threw out there as far as doubleheaders and how that's going to affect teams. But I do want to mention real quick, if you're watching right now on the live stream, if you have any questions for us, have any questions for the coaches, definitely toss them out here, and we'll be
there are some questions.
I noticed that, so we'll get to those here in just a moment. But Coach Sigmund, how is your schedule loaded this year? Do you have doubleheaders and tournaments that you're going to have to contend with? And are you, if so, are you planning on kind of doing the same thing that Zach mentioned as far as the rotation?
A lot of doubleheaders. We've got 2 tournaments we're going to be in, so we might run into 2 others. The only one we've got on the schedule right now is with Zach in the last part of July. So we've been able to get our schedule as we had before, pretty much playing on an every other day basis. Might have a couple of days in between some of the games, so we're able to give our guys a little bit of a break, give the arms a break. That way they can get back into shape and prevent injuries.
Gotcha. How about you, Coach Kudelik? How's your schedule look?
One thing I did want to mention schedule-wise, I know that the schedule has adjusted a great deal, but going back to last year, Zach and I talked through a mutual friend, a teammate at Jeffco, Andrew Johnston, and we tried to figure it out. I think last year was the first time we played Festus since maybe 1988, 1989, something like that. And then Danny is, I don't know Danny really personally, but he's good friends with the guy that's in our program. And Mike Sears, our general manager, has been talking to him. So we had Rock actually Memorial Day weekend. We were going to play 3 games that weekend as kind of a spring training kickoff. So this had kind of been in the works. So, I mean, we're trying to get back to kind of those local roots and, community baseball, because we need to, be honest with who we are. We're trying to do something a lot different than what your travel select teams are doing. A lot of those teams are weekend only and so on and so forth. And, we are all in a league normally in a normal year. And we wanted to kind of reconnect, and we were lucky enough to do that with Zach. And this year with Danny, we had already had in our initial schedule that's changed about 20 times. We had plans on playing locally and doing local things because we have to embrace who we are, I think. And that's what separates us from everyone else. And, it is a brotherhood. And even though we are competitive and whatnot, there are mutual connections that go a lot deeper than baseball. And so as far as the schedule goes this year, honestly, I'm just being honest with you. I'm day to day. It seems like it's changing all the time. We had 2 adjustments to our schedule that happened today through our GM. And, it's like any minute. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but I feel like any minute they could tell us, the season's over. So, I'm kind of waking up one day and, okay, what's on the table today? Who's available? Where are we going? What we doing? And, we went down to Valley Catholic and played down there last night. What a beautiful facility. And, so it's just kind of, rolling with the punches, and you better be flexible this year because it's just crazy. And so, we really appreciate, Zach and Danny welcoming us into, their schedule and onto their fields. And we're excited about where the future is going to go because we got to embrace who we are. And I think that's important. We're Jefferson County proud, and even though we are not Legion anymore, I grew up playing Legion baseball, and I loved Arnold Legion, and that was my roots. And, I'm glad those guys are welcoming us onto their schedule and onto their field. So we appreciate that.
And we appreciate it in the media, too.
Yeah,
for years I would interview Zach or you or your predecessor, and I would say, hey, when are you guys going to play with each other? Because I would always say, hey, who? And I would always throw that question out, and nobody would answer. Who do you think's better, the Slava? So that was like one of those things we always wanted to see, the Slava versus. At least I did. So
sure.
I love the fact that all these teams are playing each other now. I think it's wonderful. That being said, and I don't know how does it come about? How do you schedule and hire umpires for these games now that they're across the league? Whose responsibility was that, and how did that come about?
I think it's just kind of a gentleman's agreement. I mean, the home team typically would pay for the umpires since the other team travels. We went to Festus last year. The plan was to have Festus come to Fox this year. It's just kind of a gentleman's agreement. We just communicate with each other. It's not very complicated, honestly.
So if Festus comes up to Fox to play this year and you're responsible for the umpires, are those going to be guys you normally contract with Slava then? Or?
Sure, we use GSL, and Zach and I actually had some conversation in the offseason about umpires and umpire costs and availability. And so, Zach and I have had many, many conversations. I have so much respect for the history at Festus, and luckily Zach was teammates with Andrew Johnston at Jeffco, and him and AJ were pretty good buddies. And Andrew, I just got goosebumps saying his name because he's one of the coolest kids I've ever coached, and so luckily we just kind of work through it.
Sure.
If you're the home team, generally you handle everything from the baseballs to the umpires to that kind of thing, and you reciprocate it the next year when you go to their park. So that's kind of generally how it's worked.
All right. Anything to add to that, fellas? Or, are we going to see any different umpires this year, normal umpires in some of your home games, Coach Sigmund?
Yeah, we're actually we hooked up with the guys at the Apex tournament people use. I'm not sure what organization they are, so I got a hold of them, and they had no issues with getting all of our schedule covered.
Zach, anything to add to that?
No, Aaron hit on it. I had talked to him this offseason about making a change to the GSL guys, so we're going to do that this summer. Unless you're offering your services, Jeff, we're willing to gear you up back there, man, if you want.
Well, it would cost more than any of you could afford, Zach. That's for sure.
I don't doubt it, man. And know your worth, they say, right?
That's right. Well, we touched on it right off the bat, and you all three touched on this, and the role that the players and families had in trying to get this summer season going. And obviously everyone's chomping at the bit, and being in a leadership role in your organization, you guys are the ones that had to apply the cautious, be cautious and try to keep everything in check. But was there anything behind the scenes that the families and players did to try to make all of this happen and assist you guys at all? Let's start with Zach on that one.
Well, Jeff, I think parents are certainly a big component of it, no matter what. Particularly at the younger levels, they're not only are they mom and dad, but they're transportation, their uniform washer, they're obviously a big part of any kid's experience playing baseball in the summer or really playing any sport growing up. So reaching out to them early on, I think they were all very receptive of the idea of trying to get out of the field as soon as safely possible. A lot of question marks still. I think Aaron kind of hit on it. Obviously we all have plans about going forward, but there's a lot that's outside of our control right now. We've been very lucky in Jefferson County here. There's been a minimal amount of COVID-19 cases. Certainly hoping it stays that way long term. So we're waking up every day hoping that it's a good day and things are going to continue to go like we hope they are. And, the feedback from parents is overwhelming. We had a couple kids who decided, parents decided they weren't comfortable with, their son being out and about this summer. That's totally understandable. Tell them there's certainly no hard feelings on that end, but overwhelmingly, I think the response was the parents wanted their son to be able to play if possible. So we're certainly hoping that continues to be possible. We're hoping that these schools and some places will open up sooner rather than later. And if so, we're hoping we're going to be ready.
Coach Kudlik, anything to add to that? Anything, your parents pretty much the same thing in your organization?
I think initially what happened, and we have a parent that works at the Wash U infectious disease department. So,
inside action.
Yeah,
right
she was hypersensitive because of what she sees. I mean, she was really, really hesitant when we started opening it up, and we had half of the team for the first hour, the other half. We tried to do things cautiously, and then it became apparent right away that we were going to have to alter our travel schedule. We typically go out of town a couple times on the 18U level, and the College of the Ozark tournament down there that we go to, which is a really good tournament for us. And it's close to our lake house, so I can get some fishing in as well. But they canceled pretty quick, and College of the Ozark shut down the campus. So once we saw that and talking to a couple parents in the organization, we went ahead and self-canceled the Memphis, Tennessee tournament we were supposed to go to. And, we knew we couldn't take kids on the road and the cost and the hotels. And so I think initially – that's what's kind of odd is, I'm sure these guys are in the same situation. You're thinking, okay, when's the 4 or 5 day getaway weekend tournament we're going to have as a team to bond and grow? And,
sure.
Parents are like, we're not putting 4 kids in a room, and we don't know where those 4 kids have been and what they've done and who their contacts are. So we're trying to figure out, okay, does that mean 2 in a room? I mean, what are we going to do here? So I think it's just still, again, the uncertainty of it all. And, you just kind of got to roll with it. This is uncharted territory, and we're just trying to do our best to, get kids experience and exposure and opportunity, and that's what we're all about.
Just to follow up on that question with Coach Sigmund, obviously first game Friday night. Are there any things, any precautions, any certain things that the fans need to abide by Friday night as they come to the game? And you've got that one big long bleacher session there on the first base side. Anything that they need to be aware of?
Just the social distancing. Jefferson County doesn't have anything enforced right now anymore, but just to be safe, just respect each other's personal space. Player rules. There's no handshakes after the game. There's no sharing sunflower seeds. No sharing drinks, food of any kind, no sharing of helmets. So basically, it's just everything is yours and yours only. Other than that, just the typical things you need to practice. Just being safe,
just being smart. Zach touched on this a little bit as far as parents of the younger guys, the junior level, maybe. They wash the laundry, they do the driving, things like that. Has this summer schedule impacted some of your junior teams in any different way than the senior, or is it pretty much the same, Coach Kudlik?
I would say it's, similar, but, I know that already we've played, on a Monday, a doubleheader at 2 and 4 o'clock in a tournament, and, it wasn't a holiday. So that was odd. I can't imagine, the younger teams. I know a game we added today, we're playing a 12:30 league game on, I think it's June 23rd. I don't remember when it was added. So we're playing at some odd times and some odd places, and that obviously puts a lot of stress on a 15-year-old who can't drive himself and the parents and such. So, then you're asking another family to drive a kid to a game maybe, and now, that blows the social distancing out of the water. So what do you do about that? So, it's just a tricky time.
Any challenges that you guys see, Coach Bone or Coach Sigmund?
Yeah, with our junior squad, unfortunately, they weren't able to keep it together for this summer. So it's just going to be varsity level only. It's going to be a tough one to rebound off of. So I'll keep in close contact with our junior level coaches to see if we can bring those kids back next year, assuming all this is passed over and we're back to normal.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that because obviously this is a long-term effect situation, not only for society and health and the economy and all that good stuff, but even down at the level of baseball organizations from from what we're doing here at amateur all the way up to the pros, the long-term effects that this crisis has had. I'm very glad that you brought that up, Coach. Zach, what about your juniors? Any differences at all?
Well, not particularly in terms of, just how we're scheduling things. We're looking at they're going to participate in Babe Ruth also at the 17U level. So we're carrying a big roster there as well. A lot of doubleheaders on the schedule, a couple tournaments here and there. Trying to get some games, obviously, where we can in a condensed time frame. So, for us, it's we're able to condense, our 9th and 10th graders for the most part. We have a few 10th graders on the senior team this year, but most of our 9th and 10th graders down into that team. And we're going to try to get them as many games as possible again. So, we decided to move into 2 teams for the summer with a few kids we had that decided they weren't wanting to do anything, or their parents weren't comfortable with them doing anything this summer. So we'll carry 18 on both rosters. And, I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to hopefully get a lot of kids in, hopefully get them, some of that time back they missed this spring, as well as what they would typically get in the summertime.
Gotcha. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, and this is just my own curiosity. We've got all these different teams, and we're all playing with each other from all these various different leagues now. How do the rules work out? Are there any differences in rules between? I mean, I don't know if there's pitch count rules that are different. Obviously, pitch count is going to be probably not a big factor right away. But any rules? I mean, when you go to a Babe Ruth play a Babe Ruth team at home, do you play by their rules? Are there any differences in rules, Zach?
Yeah, actually, there are on the Babe Ruth. And typically, if we would play, Aaron or someone outside of Legion, the rules are usually very, very similar. You bat 9 DH for the pitch or whatever it happens to be. So, there may be a couple things that, you just agree on, gentleman's agreement beforehand or whatever it is. Typically, I think, if you're the visiting team, you'll play by whatever rules the home team, wants to play by. And they're usually very similar. Babe Ruth actually does have a bat 10 rule where the pitcher has to hit for himself, and then instead of a DH, there's an EH or an extra hitter. That'll be an adjustment for the summer. And, usually when we go down and play Charleston, obviously they'd want to play, at their site. Honestly, a lot of times, it's a non-league game, obviously. If they came to our place and they wanted to hit 10, and play, I don't really have an issue with that. So, I don't necessarily think it impacts the integrity of the game or anything like that. I think it's just different rules people want to play by. This summer, it's probably ideal for a lot of people because you're going to get one extra bat in the lineup and get another kid in there a little bit. So, I think by and large, most people are playing very similar rules. I think pitch counts are nearly universal, and if not, they probably should be. I think most coaches want to do the right thing on that end. There's always going to be a few guys that, maybe more at the youth level that really want that plastic trophy on the weekend. They're willing to let a kid throw 200 pitches for it, but. For the most part, I think guys are pretty responsible with that sort of thing. So some minor differences occasionally, but certainly nothing that's prohibitive.
So right now, if there's any of your guys from any of your teams watching right now, all your POs, your pitchers only, they're probably slobbering at the idea of, hey, we're going to get to hit for a change. There's some of these guys that I've seen lobby and beg their coaches, hey, come on, throw me in the bat every once in a while, So, well, we're looking forward to that for sure. You see any difference coming from a Slava angle?
I'll be honest with you. It's, again, day to day, week to week, who you're playing, what the tournament is. Everybody does a little thing. The thing that drives me insane about the rules, the hour, 40-minute time limit, it's like we're playing fast break baseball. That bothers me to a degree, especially they try to cheat you out of an inning because it's, 2 minutes near the time limit. But, I know in Slava what they do is we have a small business card type card that we have that, highlights different rules that we use in our league. And I'll be honest with you, playing in so many different leagues, so many different tournaments, 9 times out of 10, I'll in between innings, if I'm thinking something, I'll go ask the umpire. Or, when I'm going to make a move, I go to him first because if he says you can do it, then you can do it. And if the other team complains, then the umpire's got to deal with that because he told me I could do it. And like Zach said, when you play someone on their field, they generally set the tone. And, like right now it's so wide open. We're pretty much playing almost an open roster. You can bat as many as you want. You can make as many changes as you want. And it's all in the name of trying to get kids opportunity and exposure. So, I think you just have to be aware of where you're at and what the rules are and play baseball as close as you can to what it should be.
So after the meeting for the ground rules, Coach Sigmund, at the beginning of the game, and the submission of lineups, after that it's on the umpires then, right?
That is correct. Yeah, so we'll be doing pretty much what Zach said. We're going to stick with our rules that are, the basic high school rules with a couple different caveats in it, the American Legion throws in there. And if we travel, if they doing something different, we'll just conform to it. There's not too many differences. Like he said, it'll have an effect on the integrity of the game. So we'll stick with what they want to do, and we'll just play ball.
Excellent. And that's a perfect way to go into our next commercial break here. We'll segue right into that. We're going to come back with our third and final segment right here on the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream STL, and we're going to answer some of our viewers' questions. We'll be right back.
And I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, with basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, or really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act, and you're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Kettlehut, owner of Kettlehut Smokehouse and proud sponsor of our regional youth baseball program. Come on in before or after a game for some of the best barbecue in the area. We can feed the whole team or have us cater your next party. On 6167 Crystal City, Kettlehut Smokehouse, hands down the best around.
I wonder what Coach Jarvis is up to.
Jason! What's up? What's up?
Oh, hang on a minute. I got a call from Blair.
What's
What am I doing? I'm sitting here watching the coach's box.
This must be a wrong number.
Where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? There's the game. Livestream STL, now available on Roku.
This Livestream STL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on Livestream STL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
Well, we appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids. And get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
And we're back. Thanks so much for watching the Coach's Box, our afternoon edition here with Jeff Whitener and myself, along with our coaches that we're covering from Festus, Rock Memorial, and the JC Blazers this summer. Again, if you're interested in being a part of that, sponsor with us. This is really a cool place to sponsor with, and for us, we feel like it's pretty inexpensive as well. So get a hold of us, and you can get a hold of us at 314-852-4398 or live stream stl@outlook.com. Also, don't forget, one of our amazing, great sponsors here from USA Mortgage, Justin Neal, the home of possibility, branch manager over at the Festus branch. Give him a call at 314-287-4572, or you can get them on the web here at festus.usa-mortgage.com. And we want to thank the folks over here at La Pachanga as well for having us here. Located in Herculaneum at 1185 Scenic Drive. Give them a call at 636-475-4888 or lapachangamex.com. And we're going to go into some questions here. Oh, let me turn all of our microphones on. I keep forgetting
about that. Open up the viewer mailbag there.
I am going to open up the viewer mailbag, and the first question is, this is actually geared towards Danny Sigmund. Is he at the bank today? Tell him to get to work. That's the first question for Danny Sigmund. So, Danny, do you have a rebuttal for that, my friend?
I am at the bank, and I am on my lunch break right now, so I'm okay to not be working.
All right, there you go. I like that. So there's question one out of the way. We've got a question in from the TKDS Sports Network. Actually, it's just a comment. It's like, let's play ball in Missouri. It's time. We all agree wholeheartedly, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think so as
well.
Ready
to go.
Right? And we have another question from Terry Good. The Festus Little guys have been playing and have been having a great time, so it's more of a comment. But and I have seen a couple of videos here and there as we speak throughout the last couple of weeks of Little League opening up. And, I mean, obviously those are probably different conditions than what you guys have to deal with, because I'm sure that the conditions are a little the bar is probably raised a little bit more, correct?
Mm-hmm. I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too.
For those little guys, yeah.
So you got that, and then what was the other question?
There was a question for Danny about uniforms, team uniforms. Anything you need to clear up right now while people are watching, Danny?
Uniform wise, we did get some new shirts in. We're not having the American Legion patch on it. That was something that was actually brought to my attention by Russ from the paper. I wasn't aware that we couldn't play without them, so we had to scramble to get some uniforms made up in about the last 10 days, I guess.
Goodness.
So we got that done. There should be, believe it or not, they're supposed to be there at the game just about game time on Friday. If not, though, we've got John Horn, our general manager, has kept about 30 years worth of uniforms up in the equipment room. So we should be able to at least go up there and rip a few patches off of those and be able to play some ball.
No matter what those shirts smell like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mothballs and mold.
How about you, Coach Bone? The Festus set for uniforms, special shirts?
We actually changed up the uniforms just a little bit this year. We've gone back and forth on it. When Dad was coaching years ago, they had a team set that he would hand out and collect. We've gotten away from that over the years just because, it can be coaching high school, it's enough of a pain getting uniforms and things back whenever, you can threaten to hold a kid's transcripts or something. So, I wasn't really interested, in doing that. So, we've done, the Under Armour locker shoes, which are light. We've actually gone to a button up this year that we're going to mix in as well. So, we were planning on breaking something out that was a little bit of a third alternate uniform. But we decided to shelve that for the summer. So, I'll keep the thousands that are viewing right now in suspense on what we might do with that just a little bit. But, I think it's kids are excited to be out there and anything. I think you could probably give them a, sleeveless shirt and, some sort of, sweat shorts, and they'd be excited to get out there. So we're not going to do anything. We're not going to go like 70s Chicago White Sox on them quite yet. But I think we're kids are excited to get out there and something.
I think you need to bring
the stirrup socks
back. I think you need to bring the stirrup socks back. That's what it comes down to, right?
You know what? Ray, I'll make you this promise this year. The first game that you guys do this year, of ours, I'll be sure to wear the stirrups myself.
Nice.
For a one-time only thing, the one-time only Ray Halbrook special.
Hey,
I love it. Yeah, you know me.
We're to start a tradition.
I'm about stirrups all the way, baby. That's for sure.
Bring it.
Yeah,
Bring it.
yeah.
That's for sure. Any special tweaks? You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to rip off any kind of patches or anything. You get a special alternate camo shirt or anything?
No, this was actually a winter workout shirt from a couple years ago. It's one of my favorites. Not sure why. Just comfortable.
Yeah, there you go.
No, we don't have to take the Slaba patch off. We're good there. And we, like Zach, just to reiterate that, you know, they've been for a few years now. The kids get the pants, 2 pairs of pants, 2 tops. Sometimes we do an alternate, sometimes we don't, and we don't collect it back. It's just kind of built in the fee, and it's up to them. And, we cycle those in and out every couple years. And so, I couldn't imagine trying to collect anything back in the summertime. It would be virtually impossible.
Why would you want to? That's the other thing. Well, the other thing I want to mention, Ray, speaking of aesthetics here, which we normally don't get into.
That's a dime word there.
I know,
at least.
as Matt Schutte would be proud.
That's right.
As we see the picture here,
do.
if you'll pull it up, of the 3 hats for the various teams that we're talking about, the coach, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, as far as county teams go, these 3 teams have the very best looking uniforms in the county.
Yeah.
So I'm not just saying that because you guys are on here, but the looks are really good, and all 3 teams always have a real good uniform, and the kids should be proud. I'd want to keep one too if I were them. So.
I agree.
We did. I talked to Zach before, and our general manager, and we've kicked around some ideas. I told Zach one day we should do a Saturday or a Sunday where, we all 3 play against each other, and we have the Arnold Legion. Like Dan said, Coach Sears, the general manager, has the red, white, and black Arnold Legion uniforms from my heyday back in the 80s. And
wow.
We talked about breaking those out. We'd have to get the Atlanta Braves trucker hat that has the A for Arnold on it. That's what the look used to be. So we talked about those ideas, but maybe down the road, I think, again, like I said before, I think we need to embrace community baseball as we continue to fight kids that want to go somewhere else and pay big dollar. And you don't have to do that, but people seem to think they do, so they keep spending their money.
I always liked, and I tried yesterday, again, trying to mooch to see if he had any left. I tried to get Brian Garner to see if he had any J.C. Barnstormer hats left over yesterday, but he said he'd give me one if he still had any, but no dice there. But what else do we have there on the line, Ray?
Trying to think of anything. Oh, well, I've got one comment from Terry Good. It says we need to have Coach Ryan Good on. Do you know Ryan? I do not.
I don't know him personally.
Okay.
I would assume you guys know Ryan, but
from Fontbonne University, I believe he's related to Derek, isn't he?
I do not know.
I'm not sure. Do you know that, Zach? Is Ryan Good?
Yeah, Ryan would be a great addition. He's the head coach at Fontbonne University, lives here locally. Mm-hmm. And Ryan also runs the Twin City Titans organization here in town. So, he does a lot of stuff with youth baseball. Smart dude, very well spoken. I think he'd be a great addition to the deal here.
Great.
Well, not only that, but all 3 of your teams, you guys have fed players up through to the Fontbonne program. I know just from my personal experience, from working with 253, I know the guys that have gone up there, but I know that, for example, Shannon Dow to Rock Memorial, he'll be heading to Fontbonne this year, so he'll be in good company up there. It's nice to see the Jefferson County connection up at the Fontbonne for sure.
Yeah, we have Luke Summers is a guy that's his number 1. And honestly, if Luke would have had more opportunity at a very good Vianney High School, he might have gone a little bigger. He was a guy that had a really tough time throwing strikes. I mean, it was all there. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't get the ball on the plate consistently, and he's matured and done a great job with Ryan there. And, with DeSoto Legion not having a team this year, we did have a couple kids reach out to us, and we added them to our roster to give them opportunity to play. So, I know one of them is going to Fontbonne, Cameron Brooks from DeSoto. And,
sure. Heard that name before.
Yeah,
we know Cameron well.
Yeah, so he's a great kid. And, Kevin Hart, who runs the Swarm It's a youth organization. He's out of the Arnold area. Kevin played for me, and Kevin reached out about Gabe King recently. He's a left-hander from Hillsboro, so I was actually messaging with Lucas the other night, and he's like, yeah, Zach and I were just texting too. We were trying to figure out what's going on at Jeffco, and I was like, well, that's a different topic for another day. So anyway,
stay tuned, right?
Yeah, so Ryan is a great guy, and I talked to him quite a bit, and we've had quite a few guys go there, and I know a couple of our Merrimack guys, are going there from Merrimack this spring. So, and like you said, I know he's lives here in Peevely and nice and close, and he'd probably be willing to come get some lunch.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Bring it.
There you go. We'll have to have him on. Maybe we get him on to when we do one of our games, he can come on and talk a little bit about.
We've got a lot of
baseball.
folks that are always welcome to chime in and give us a break for a half inning.
Absolutely.
No big deal,
And if any of you guys are at a game, each other's game, which I don't know that you'll have time to this summer, but feel free to sit down and throw a headset on for sure, because people get tired of hearing goofballs like me talk. What do we have? We have the Rockies. Okay, so that was Marcus Onimus wanted to know about the uniforms, Coach. But let's see. Oh, Neil Quick. Terry Good says Luke Summers is coming back.
Nice. Well, there was some question. There's only a 5-round draft this year, so there were a lot of questions. Another old Jeffco guy, Kevin Cullen, works for the Indians. He had found out that he was a Blazer guy and a Fontbonne guy, and they're trying to snap up. I guess 5 rounds is all you get, and after that, you're either going to get a $20,000 check to sign as a free agent, or you go back. So it's a bizarre world for draft potential guys this year. So Luke's got a future for sure, but a 5-round draft doesn't help a guy like him from a small D3 school.
Don't even get me started on Major League Baseball this year. That's a whole that's a whole other hour subject for sure. But we talked a little bit about coaching. Any changes to your guys' coaching staff this year? I'm going to start with Coach Sigmund. You have any changes, additions that you're bringing in this year?
Yeah, we're actually we're bringing in a couple of younger guys, 2 guys that's graduated out of our program. I know Zach's done this with a couple of his guys at the junior level, but we're bringing in Cale Ward, who played for us a couple of years ago, and my oldest son, Drew, who just graduated from playing with C.J. Bilbrey up at Harris Stowe. He's going to come in and work with our pitchers, and Cale's working with our outfielders. And we still have Wayne and Roger, myself, that's been there the last couple of years. So we're going a little bit of a youth movement and see what kind of reaction we can get from the players on that.
That's a great idea, and I think both those guys. I'm more familiar with Cale and his athletic career than your son's. But you're going to have your son handle the pitching staff. Is that correct?
Yeah. And he pitched for CJ for the last 3 years up there, and then he's gone through a couple different training programs that has really done wonders for him throwing wise. He went from being mid 80s to where he was able to touch low 90s by his senior year. So I wanted him he did the throwing program for about 3 years with him, and it's worked a lot for him. So he's going to start incorporating that with some of our guys. Not saying that we're going to get guys touching 90, but if we can just pick up a little bit of velocity for them, it's going to help improve their overall chances to be a little bit better pitcher. We're going to do it.
Sure. Well, that's great. That's great news, and obviously bringing your son on is going to be a fun relationship too. There, Zach, you got anybody new on the staff this year?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I think
I know one of them.
Well, that's why. Yeah, I thought you'd make it official now.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you break that news. Go ahead.
Ray, you're not on the coaching staff. I don't know how many times I tell you that, but it's not.
Darn it. He thinks he is.
Let's see. The usual suspects are back with the older team: Drew Harrell, Aaron Mayer, Eric Lawrence, Jim Smetzer. Jeremy Brown will help out this summer. A guy named Scott Burns. Scott is from Washington, Missouri. Played for Washington Legion years ago. Scott will be out to help with the pitch at the younger level. Austin Bearden returns along with Justin Neal, Steve Harrell, Matt Eisenbeis, Billy Pruno will make an appearance. Did I miss somebody? I don't know if I missed the guy that I'm hoping I didn't leave him out. Ethan Riando returns. I don't know if I missed anybody that I'm leaving out. I wouldn't feel very good about it if I did, but we're fortunate to have a lot of help. Some younger guys that have been in the program and played a little bit. And then, some veterans, I guess you could say, that have been around a long time.
Good mix there, that's for sure. Coach Kay, you got anybody new on
Yeah,
the
so Rich Montgomery Sr. was my 16U coach for Arnold Legion back in the day, and he was retiring from Monsanto Bayer, and he said he called me and said, "Hey, before I sign this retirement paperwork, I need something to do." I said, "So what are you wanting to do?" He goes, "Well, you do mind if I hang out on the bench and complain a little bit?" I said, "Absolutely, come on." So we call him Big Rich because there's a little Rich, and so he's a part of things. Alex Tanft is back with me. He pitched at Mac a couple years, pitched at Missouri Baptist. He's coached with me 16, 17, 18, 19, now 20. Ed Potkin's a guy who's coached at our younger levels. His son's now a junior, and he pretty much runs our game changer and stays on top of rosters. And when I make mistakes, he lets me know if something's not done right. On our 16U level, Jerry Arnold's a Hillsboro guy. Junior Arnold's his son, a really nice athlete. So there's kind of been an influx at the younger levels of more Jefferson County guys. So Nick Carlton was a Blazer that pitched over at Swick, and he's helping out on 16U. Shane Pollard is a Fox guy from years gone by that played at Merrimack and then Arkansas Tech, I believe. So they're on the 16. And then Tyler Mullen and Travis Turnbow, a Fox and Seckman guy. They're both doing our 15U. It's our first year together at 15U, and they're asking a million questions, which is fine. They both played for me, and it's always great keeping guys involved. If they want to come back, it means you have a great environment and a great home and a great place to be. And so, we're really excited about the guys that are involved. Sean Cleary's a kid that is he was at Mineral Area College, but he's transferring to Merrimack, and he's around a lot too, helping with the catchers at all levels. So, just trying to keep guys involved. Anybody that wants to be around it and help out, you're never going to say no, because as we know, we're not making a ton of money doing this.
Right. Not about the money, that's for sure. But and for all three of your teams, having those guys come back is so great because it helps build that culture. And I'm glad we had just a moment here at the end of the show just to talk and touch on all these assistant coaches and head coaches for your junior programs, because those are really the guys that make things go outside of you guys are the faces maybe of the organization, but I'm really glad we got to touch on that. Ray, do you have another?
There was one question that came up, and I guess this is for every single coach here real quick. It just came up just a second ago here. Are you having any trouble getting umpires?
We are not. We are not.
No.
Thank God our general manager, Mike Sears, handles all that. I'm really lucky in that regard. He makes my job super easy, so I just I don't have any concerns or worries at all.
I heard a no out of Danny. How about Zach?
No, I think there's probably a lot less baseball being played, honestly, right now than there typically is in the summer. So I think there's a lot of umpires itching to work. They missed out on the spring season. I know there's going to be theoretically, I guess I should say, some stuff starting up July 1st, whether that's the Metro Police League in St. Louis, or more teams trying to get in and playing around that time. But I think there's a lot of guys looking to work, so we've been able to fill those pretty quickly.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate your time. I know things are going to kick off here and get real hectic, so we wanted to touch base with all of you before that time. So, and that's one of the reasons, folks, that we moved the show up to noon today. And obviously, if you missed this replay, we'll be archiving the show, and you can go back. We'll post something a little later in the evening too, for those who are at work right now. But really, really want to thank Coach Danny Sigmund, Rock Memorial, Coach Zach Bone at the Festus Diamond Club, and Coach Aaron Kudelik of the JC Blazers. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here today on the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream STL.
We appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
appreciate
it. And before we go out here, we want to let you know about our Jeff Go Diamond Cast. We're going to get things started off this Friday. 7:15 will be our pregame. Jeff and I will have the call.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
I've been ready for a long time, Ray.
There it is. And so check that out, 7:15, and that will be on all of our outlets. And we'll throw our outlets out here real quick one last time here. Facebook will be on the Twitter, YouTube, our Roku channel, Twitch, Periscope, We will not be on Instagram. You can only go so many seconds or whatever.
Right.
So, but we use Instagram just for informational purposes only. But if you're interested in getting a hold of our Roku channel, this is how you do it. You want to watch it from your TV, this is a cool deal. Live games cut in right on our live our feed here. You got to log into videos.tkdssports.com. And I know Jeff has a Roku channel. Jeff is raves about it because it is a little clearer than what you see on the internet.
The quality of picture is really amazing for what we do. Based with the equipment we have, what comes out on the Roku on the stream on the Roku is just fantastic as far as quality wise. It's something that's definitely worth it. And as we touched on before, we have a lot more teams involved this year that we're going to try to cover here in the county. So a lot more opportunities for folks and relatives to see the athletes play. So hop on board.
Absolutely. If you're interested in getting a hold of us for that, again, we're running those. We've got less than 48 hours here. Great deals for these broadcasts. We're going to have around 20. I would probably venture to say if there's more games that pop up, and I know the coaches are listening, so if they do, let us know, and if we're free, we're there.
Absolutely.
So, but if you can get a hold of us by logging into or emailing us over at livestreamstloutlook.com, or you can get a hold of me. This is my cell phone number here, 314-852-4398. For all of us here at Livestream STL, we're going to say so long. Thanks for watching not the Coach's Box. I was here 2 days ago. Sorry, I'm so used to doing it here. Main Street Sports, because I produce them all, so it's real easy to do that. And we're getting ready to maybe bring on another one, so I got to remember them all. Goodness.
Where's the game?
Right. Where's the game? Where's the game, right? Yeah. So for all of us here at Livestream STL, we're saying so long. Have a great day.